Taking a look at futures this morning, as you can see, a little bit of a mixed bag as we get back open after markets were closed for the Christmas holiday. Investors are watching for that Santa Claus rally. This, of course, we talk about it every year, a historical year-end boost that spans these final trading days of December that goes into the first sessions of the new year. Now, markets notched strong gains for the year, led by AI. The NASDAQ up so far this year 22%. S&P 500 is up 18%. The Dow is up 14%. Incredible, right? Well, NVIDIA, we just learned, has reached a new technology licensing deal with AI chip startup Grok. This gives them access to the technology at Grok, and they will integrate Grok's chip design into NVIDIA's products. This brings Grok's CEO and senior leaders over to NVIDIA. Grok is going to still, though, operate as an independent company. NVIDIA says the move expands its AI factory platform. I want to bring in ER Share CEO Joel Schulman. Joel, good morning to you. And, you know, on the heels, this is obviously another deal for NVIDIA. The AI story continues through the end of the year. But what are you looking at for next year? Are there certain themes or sectors?
Well, NVIDIA is a classic example of a company which is taking full advantage of AI. When you look at them, they've increased revenues 6 times in 2 years. They've increased profits 10 times in 2 years, and they're continuing to invest. And by the way, the revenue per employee is just, it's unprecedented. When you look at the number of employees they've increased, it went from like 22,000 to 36,000. So they're only increasing their employees by a modest amount, but profits and revenues are growing. For next year, I look at predictive markets are going to be red hot in terms of general markets, tokenization, and retail investors trying to get into private equity, things like SpaceX, OpenAI, Anthropic, these types of things. So it's going to be an exciting year, 2026.
No, I mean, the market is setting the stage for a potential IPO boom or rebound, whatever you want to call it, for 2026. So this IPO rebound is certainly going to be something that's going to be, I think, on the minds of many. But you know, a lot of these bankers are looking for this blockbuster pipeline. That's what they're calling this. And you mentioned SpaceX, that's one of them. So of all the potential IPOs, what do you think is going to be the biggest? I think SpaceX could be, and that's
well, I mean,
potentially
SpaceX
30 billion. So.
Yeah. SpaceX currently valued at $800 billion. The IPO is estimated to be $1.6 trillion. They'll put it right, you know, at the highest ever, including Saudi Aramco. So this is going to be an exciting year. You look at many of the other companies bubbling up, you know, private equity companies like Databricks and XAI, Anthropic, OpenAI, you know, many exciting private companies trying to go public, probably going public in 2026, you know, probably first or second quarter.
Yeah, what did you make about that GDP number that we got for the third quarter? I'm going to bring in John Lonsky into this, but, you know, Joel, that certainly was a market boost and really defied logic of those that had said that the economy was suffering under the changes we've seen with the Trump administration. But look, you've had deregulation. The market seems to be the economic story. Joel, first to you, and then I'll go to John Lonsky.
Right. Okay. Well, in terms of the GDP, you know, in what's going on, I mean, the market has surprised in terms of the consumer spending. I mean, that's been a real surprise in terms of the continued spending. You're looking at the markets certainly boosting net worth for many individuals, and so they're spending. You're seeing many of the markets, you know, for example, in commodities, gold reached a new high today. Silver's doing well. Crypto through much of the year was doing well, and this has also been boosting revenues.
Yeah, no, I was looking at gold, unbelievable, $4,500 a troy ounce on Tuesday. Look, I mean, I was looking at the stat that the most vigorous spending has come from the nation's top 10% of earners. That now basically accounts for nearly half of national spending. I think that goes on the backs of the stock market. Joel, real quick, final word.
Right. Sure. Well, I mean, to your point, it's the top 10% that are really driving this economy, and they're getting the full benefit of AI. You're seeing many of the older consumers, many of the baby boomers have extended their careers by 3, 5, 7 years because of AI. They don't have to do these menial tasks. And those are the ones with the spending power, and they're now spending. And so we're going to continue to see that that sort of behavior for 2026, probably more so than we did in 25.
Joel Schulman, it's always good to see you. We'll see you back in our studios soon. Thank you, Joel.